lumberjack with the hat to match, cause I rhyme tight. Time to get paid, blow up like the world trades.
Is the ladies in the house tonight?
Handle my biz. Don't get expensive. See the women just about the word. Latest body shit. The high guy.
Biggie Smalls, better known by his stage name, the Notorious B.I.G., was a pioneer of East Coast gangster rap and a beloved figure in the hip-hop community. On March 9, 1997, he was fatally shot. Christopher Wallace was also known as the Notorious B.I.G. His life was cut tragically short. His murder, which occurred in Los Angeles in 1997 when he was 24 years old, remains unsolved to this day. In the early 1990s, the G-Funk sound popularized by Dr. Dre and Death Row Records from the West Coast surpassed the East Coast and its progenitor, New York's own Smalls. Smalls shifted the focus back to New York and his label home, Bad Boy Records, thanks to his commanding baritone, smooth flow on the mic, and willingness to talk about the fragility and harshness of the hustler lifestyle. He fancied himself a mobster, and while he was certainly not without fault, he was more of a showman than a hardcore criminal. He was in many ways like his former buddy and fierce opponent Tupac. The two rappers' feud tragically went out of hand, with neither man surviving to tell the tale. The 21st of May, 1972 found a baby boy named Christopher George Latour Wallace being born in Brooklyn, New York. Both of his parents were natives of Jamaica. His mother Valletta was a press school teacher, and his father Selwyn was a welder and local politician. Valletta took 2 jobs to put Biggie through the Roman Catholic Bishop Laughlin Memorial High School, whose notable graduates include Rudy Giuliani and former Primark CEO Arthur Rand, after Selwyn abandoned the family when Biggie was only 2. Rappers DMX, Jay-Z, and Busta Rhymes are all graduates of Biggie's old high school, although he eventually moved on to George Westinghouse Career and Technical Education High School. Biggie was an English whiz, but he frequently skipped school as a teenager and eventually dropped out of Westinghouse. Acquiring the childhood nickname Big because of his plus-sized girth, he began selling narcotics at 12, according to an interview he gave to the New York Times in 1994, hustling the streets outside his mom's apartment on Street James Place. Since Valletta was at work all day, she had no idea what her kid was up to. After dropping out of school, Biggie increased his drug trafficking and quickly found himself in legal problems. After being caught for weapons possession in 1989, he received a 5-year probationary term. He was arrested again the following year for breaking probation. The following year, he was arrested on drug trafficking charges in North Carolina and reportedly spent 9 months behind bars before posting bail. As a young man, Biggie started rapping to make money and gain popularity in his community. Following his release from prison, he released a demo cassette under the stage name Biggie Smalls, a reference to his childhood moniker, and the name of a gang boss from the 1975 film Let's Do It Again. It was fun simply hearing myself on tape over beats, he claimed in an Arista Records biography, indicating that he had no intention of making a career out of music at the time. Nonetheless, the tape made its way to the Source magazine, which featured Biggie in their unsigned hype column in March 1992. When Scene Puffy Combs, an A&R executive and producer for top urban label Uptown Records, heard this track, he knew he had to have it. Combs had worked for the company since 1990 when he was an intern. Combs obtained a record deal for Biggie, but he later quit the label due to a disagreement with Andrew Harrell, Biggie's supervisor. Soon after, Combs founded his own record label, Bad Boy Records, and by the middle of 1992, Biggie had signed with the label as well. Uptown released music that Biggie made during his brief tenure with the label in August 1992, including a remix of Mary J. Blige's Real Love that contained a guest verse from the Notorious B.I.G. Before he had the chance to put anything out on Bad Boy, he had been forced to change his recording name after a lawsuit, though he continued to be widely known as Biggie. The Notorious Big's debut solo single, Party and Bullshit, was issued in June 1993. After the release of his breakthrough song, Juicy, in August 1994, Bad Boy released the Notorious Big's self-titled debut album in September. Within the first 2 months, Ready to Die was certified gold. The following year, it was certified platinum, and towards the end of its lifespan, it was certified quadruple platinum. The album's second hit, Big Papa, was nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Rap Solo Performance. Biggie was praised for his storytelling skills on the semi-autobiographical tales of his troubled boyhood that appeared on his album Ready to Die, which was instrumental in revitalizing East Coast hip-hop. Biggie did not gloss over the drug dealer lifestyle, and the album's last track, Suicidal Thoughts, seemed like a plea for help, even though it was not one of the more upbeat radio-friendly singles. He joked, "Birthdays was the worst days / now we sip champagne when we thirsty on Juicy." In street life, you're not permitted to indicate whether you care about something. Seem Combs told the New York Times, "You need to retain a serious expression on your face." This album represents the other side of that coin. He's giving away all his vulnerability. Back in September of 1995, Biggie entered the studio to begin recording what would become his second studio album, which he would finish the following year. However, the situation would worsen. After chasing 2 autograph seekers with a baseball bat and threatening to murder them in Manhattan, in March 1996, he was arrested and eventually sentenced to 100 hours of community service. After several months, the New Jersey police raided his home and recovered 50 grams of marijuana along with 4 automatic guns. During the same summer, he was accused of assaulting and robbing the buddy of a New Jersey nightclub's music producer. This time, he was busted for smoking weed in his car in Brooklyn this past September. Former friend Tupac was killed in Las Vegas on September 7, 1996. Nobody has ever been charged for the murder, but as a consequence of the ongoing East Coast/West Coast rap beef that Biggie and Tupac's rivalry had come to embody, and also of Tupac publicly blaming Biggie and Puffy for his non-fatal shooting in 1994, there were plenty who believed that the East Coast rap kingpins were behind Tupac's murder. Biggie and Puffy have vehemently denied any wrongdoing, and other major suspects have since emerged. After his great nemesis Tupac passed away, Biggie remarked to reporter Jim Beam, "It's a crazy thing. I kind of recognized how powerful Tupac and I was. We 2 lone individuals got into a fight on the coast. What I'm trying to communicate hasn't escaped your notice, has it? When one individual from the West went up against one from the East, it sparked a regional antipathy. That goes both ways as well. Moreover, that irritated me to no end. Yo, that dude doesn't dig me, so naturally nobody on his coast does. Since I myself don't find him to be all that appealing, I can safely assume that the rest of my coast shares my distaste. It was a great indicator of my inner fortitude. Thus, I feel it is incumbent upon me to take the initiative and attempt a U-turn, and flip my power like yo, because Pac is no longer here to try to squash it. In other words, I have to bear the burden of both arguments." Unfortunately, Biggie did not survive long enough to enjoy the tranquility he desired. On the early morning of March 9, 1997, he was also murdered. This occurred soon after he left the Peterson Automotive Museum in Los Angeles, where he had attended a party hosted by Vibe magazine. During the time that Biggie, his bodyguard, and Lil Cease were sitting at a red light in their SUV, another car came up alongside them, and a gunman began fire. Biggie was taken to the hospital by his security, but it was too late. The murder of Biggie Smalls, like that of Tupac, will never be solved. There couldn't be a final resolution. Biggie, like Tupac, would posthumously release a double album. In Biggie's case, the album came out just 2 weeks after his death. Released by Bad Boy with the morbid title Life After Death on March 25, 1997. Album features guest appearances from Puff Daddy, Jay-Z, 112, Lil Kim, Maze R. Kelly, Daryl DMC McDaniels, and Angela Winbush. It was up for 3 Grammys: Best Rap Album, Best Solo Rap Performance for Hypnotize, and Best Performance by a Duo or Group for Mo Money, Mo Problems, which also featured Puff Daddy and Maze. After selling over 10 million copies, the album received a diamond certification in the year 2000. Many hip-hop fans saw Biggie's murder as an act of retaliation, and on the album track, Long Kiss Goodnight, Biggie seemed to continue the rivalry from beyond the grave. The song seemed to be about the time Tupac was shot in New York but survived. When my men bust, you just move with such stamina/slugs missed you, I ain't upset at ya. However, XXL, a hip-hop publication, claims that the song was recorded before Tupac was murdered. Whatever the reason, Biggie's untimely death marked the end of the East Coast versus West Coast rap rivalry. Things were out of control. Both of these legendary rappers had passed away. The reputation of hip-hop was tarnished. Not one person wanted more. On March 18, 1997, Lil' Kim, Mary J. Blige, Run DMC, Busta Rhymes, Foxy Brown, and other famous musicians attended Biggie Smalls' memorial service at the Frank E. Campbell Funeral Chapel in Manhattan. Biggie's body, clad in a white suit, rested in an open mahogany coffin. His cremation took place after the funeral, but the world would not go silent on Biggie Smalls forever. On Puff Daddy's No Way Out album from 1997, he appears on no less than 5 tracks. The album's tribute hit, I'll Be Missing You, beat out Biggie's own Mo Money Mo Problems, which was also nominated for Outstanding Rap Performance by a Duet or Group in 1998, and went on to win the Grammy. Born Again in 1999 and Duets, the final chapter in 2000 and 5 used previously unheard songs and featured a slew of guests like Eminem, Jay-Z, Mary J. Blige, and weirdly, Bob Marley, also deceased, and the metal band Korn. A biography starring Jamal Woolard as Biggie Smalls earned $44 million worldwide in 2009. Woolard is an actor, rapper, and comedian. Faith Evans and Lil' Kim had words because Kim was offended by the film's representation of her character. Kim, however, and Evans/Smalls have made up, with Kim contributing to a 2017 album of duets titled The King and I. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button to stay up to date on our upcoming videos.